Take me back, Rod, to 3 years ago before you got sober. What would a Super Bowl Sunday look like for you?
Oh boy, I've got some bad memories there. That's a good one. Or ones where we don't remember getting home. Yeah, Super Bowl was always not just a football game. It was a reason to drink, to be honest with you, for a guy that was suffering from alcoholism and active alcoholism. Yeah, I was hosting these parties and people were coming and we weren't getting home until well after midnight, and a lot of people aren't remembering even who won the game. And frankly, those parties still go on. I just don't go to them anymore. But that was, for a long time, that was what our Super Bowl parties were like.
And when did you realize that you needed to get help?
Probably when my bosses put a document in front of me and said, you're going to get help or you're done. That would be the biggest one. My wife had been pleading with me for years to do it, and it was falling on deaf ears for me. But when you're forced into a choice, and it was an intervention, and very similar to the TV show, if anybody's seen it. You're going for help or everybody's turning on you.
In that moment, do you recognize that they're right, or do you feel that you want to rebuff that invitation to get help?
My story, and I've told it before, is that I knew that I was an alcoholic. I didn't think I could get help. I thought I was beyond help because anybody that I'd known had quit on their own. My dad was one, and a lot of his friends, people in the sports that were sober, had quit on their own. I didn't know anybody that had gone to get help or had gone to rehab, and rehab to me was a very scary place, or at least that's what I thought. I didn't know anybody that had gone. So I thought when they pushed that document in front of me and said, you're signing this, I'm like, I'm just tired of fighting. I had quit quitting. I'd given up on myself. And I just distinctly remember putting my hands out, like, take me, almost like put handcuffs on me. And I got into recovery, and that was coming up on 3 years. This Sober Bowl will be just past 3 years sober for me. So it is a little ironic. But my message has always been, if you are where I was and you think you're beyond help, because I know there's a lot of people that feel that way, that they can't be saved, you can. Absolutely anybody can. Nobody has this disease too bad that they can't. That's my message. And it's also never too late. I told you a story about a guy that came up to me the other night, retired guy. I won't say his vocation, but he was struggling. I'm like, I'd hate to think this guy would think it's too late for him. It's never too late for anybody to change their life.
And why do it? Tell me about what life is like after you get sober and you're not restricted by this disease.
Well, to be honest, the crazy thing is so many people have come to me and said, I need to stop drinking, but I'm afraid that it'll be boring or I won't have fun. And the thing is, there's a couple differences. There's a difference between sobriety and recovery. You can be sober for the rest of your life, but if you don't start to fix all the problems in your life that led to you drinking and make you realize what you're grateful for and how the most important things in your life are your relationships and your friendships and those kinds of things, you can stay sober forever. But if you don't realize those things, that's what they call the dry drunk. So my point is now, I get asked so much. I'm traveling across the country speaking in treatment centers to current addicts and alcoholics, and they say, what are your goals? And I'm like, I don't have goals. Every goal that I had was shot down in my life because of my behavior and I would say my disease. My goal is a 24-hour goal, and that is to help people every day, be the best person I can be, the best employee every day. Ask my bosses how happy they are that I quit. What's life like when you get out of bed every day and you have no idea what's coming, but you got a pretty good idea that it's going to be good? That is the biggest rush you can possibly have, and just have faith that everything is going to work out. You can talk about faith in God or faith in the universe or just faith in yourself. I never had any of those things. So to have those now, it's pretty wild, and to be able to make a decision if I'm out speaking somewhere, if it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm like, am I going to drive home? Am I going to drive all the way back to Regina? Am I going to drive to the hotel? I don't know. But I have the options to do that instead of being out drunk somewhere, waiting on a cab, waiting on a ride, and then waking up the next day worrying about what you did. Mm-hmm. This is a pretty good way to live.
We live in a province and we have a culture around drinking, so not everyone is an alcoholic, but there's lots of social drinking and lots of association between sports and drinking. Mm-hmm. And so you going ahead with this Sober Bowl is a real change of direction. Do you think that there's a culture shift that needs to happen, and are events like what you're planning a way of helping that and then thereby maybe reducing drunk driving rates, like you're talking about getting sober rides home and all of that?
I should just say where this whole concept came from. It was like a year or two ago, a guy said to me, hey, in New York, they're doing a sober bowl. You should have one in Regina. And I'm like, I'm not ready at this point in my recovery, I think, to do something like this. And then here we are this year. Not only did they have it in New York, but now they're having it in Minneapolis and Houston and Indianapolis. Like, it's getting bigger. And I'm like, well, now's the time to do it. A. B, those parties we talked about, I'm not going to those anymore, but I'd still like to have a Super Bowl party. Why can't we have a sober one with no alcohol? I just wanted to have a party. It's kind of like Duron Carter. Why did he take, 36 Rider fans to a movie? He just wanted to go to a movie and didn't want to go alone. It's a very simple reason why I was doing this. And then it got to be probably the third reason. People are like, we need these in Saskatchewan. We need to bring families together for a sporting event like this and make it safe and know that they're going to drive home. We have this embarrassing stat of the highest drunk driving in the nation, like very embarrassing. I saw Ralph Goodale talking about that a month, 6 weeks ago. And pretty soon we're going to have high driving because people in this province have demonstrated they can't stay away from behind the wheel when they're impaired. So this is an idea where you can come, a lot of people can come together and be at a sporting event and bring your kids and have fun, because you can have fun. You can have a lot of fun without drinking. I'm doing it every day. So that's how this happened.
Tell me more about the actual Sober Bowl, where it's happening, just some of the specifics around it.
It's at Tony Roma's. They have a connection to recovery. That's how we came together. And we're going to have a big screen TV in there. And I've got a current rider coming, former Rough Rider. It's not a rider party, it's a sober party, but it's just I thought I'd have my friends there. Guys that support healthy living, frankly. Guys that have lived the other life like me and realized this life's better. They're not going to be preaching at the party, but they're going to be there. And then we have a nacho bar, chili bar, mocktails. Tony Roma's wanted to do that. And it's a ticketed event to get in. Money's going to Oxford House of Regina, sober living community for people that just got out of treatment. And that's about it. It's just a party to watch the football game. It's really all that it is. Nothing too extravagant. No.
But it is helping a lot of people, so congrats on everything you're doing.
Oh, thanks for having me down here. I'm so happy you asked me. Thanks.
Thanks, Rod.